we're going to go over some basic factoring of trinomials. Now, this is going to be a video of very, very simple. X squared plus X plus whatever, just simple ones. We're going to get some more difficult ones in a little bit, but right now, very, very easy ones that are easy to break down. This first one is a trinomial. X squared plus 14x plus 45. That's a basic trinomial that we've got to factor into two binomials. We're working backwards on the FOIL method is basically all it is. If you remember that chart that I gave you yesterday, okay, the chart where I gave you what are the signs in a trinomial, this is how I'd break them down into the binomials. Like number 5, it is x squared plus 14 plus 45 plus in the trinomial. It becomes plus in your binomial, no matter what, okay? If it is a plus in your trinomial, it has to be a plus in the binomial. Now, if you get minus or plus minus, the minus or the plus minus in the trinomial, that will always be plus minus in your binomials. Do they have to be in that order? No, but it's always good to be consistent, okay? So if you get one that's plus minus or minus in your trinomials, like numbers 13 and 14, those have to be plus minus. Now, this one right here, number 9, it's minus plus. Just that slight change to minus plus now tells me automatically that my two binomials are minus. Now that chart, I can keep that chart out forever. It can sit out right over here against my wall. It can sit out right over here to help me out even during tests. That doesn't bother me, and it won't bother any teacher if you have that little cheat. Because it's not a cheat. It's just simple facts and the more you use it, the more you'll just know that is going to be what helps you. Okay? Now, let's look at the very first one. The x squared plus 14x plus 45. I know, because I know my chart, it's plus, so my binomials will be plus. Good thing is, it's just an x squared out front. It's going to start with an x in front of both of them no matter what. Now, I've got to look at what makes 45. 1 times 45, 2 doesn't go into it, 3 times 15, 4 doesn't go into it, 5 goes in it, 5 times 9, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm repeating myself. So I've got 3 different choices of what will make this problem here, this trinomial. We know they all multiply to make 45. Now I've got to find out, because it's plus, if they add up to be 14x, the OI, the outside inside of the FOIL method. Do 1 plus 45 make 14? No. Do 3 plus 15? Ooh, that's 18. Close, but no cigar. 5 and 9 add up to 14. Now, I could put the 5 here, the 9 there, or flip-flop it. It doesn't matter because it's both positive. So this is my binomial factored. Now, how do I test this to make sure? You don't need to go through the whole FOIL method or put it into the lattice to work it out. You can see that's x squared. You can see that's 45. You don't need to do the first and the outside, or the first and the last. You just need to do the outside inside. Outside, x times 9 is 9x. Inside, 5 times x is 5x. Do those add up to 14x? Yes, it works perfectly. Okay, let's move on. Let's do number 13 next. X squared minus x minus 6. I know, because minus, I know my binomials will be plus and minus. And because it's just an x out front, I know it's going to be just an x in there. Factors of 6 are 1 and 6, 2 and 3, and that's it. 3 and 2 are just repeating. Now I've got to figure out, being that they're opposites, I know I'm going to have to subtract them to find the OI, the outside inside. So 6 minus 1 or 1 minus 6 is going to be 5 or negative 5. That's not what I get here. 2 minus 3 or 3 minus 2 makes 1 or negative 1. That's a negative 1 there. So now I've got to figure out, I know this is going to be my choice. I've got to figure out which one of these two I'm going to place this in for. Because the middle number is negative, my bigger number has to be negative in my binomials. Okay, so let's test the OI. Outside, negative 3x. Inside is a positive 2x. A negative 3x and a positive 2x makes negative 1x. So far, so good. Okay, now on your own, what I would like you to do is try number 9. Number 9 is, oh geez, that was scary. Number 9 is x squared minus 10x plus 24. Okay, try that one on your own. I'll come back in a few seconds. All right, pause the video and we'll see. Now, here we go. Let's check this. Now that you've paused it and you've come back, you've worked it out, let's see if you got the right answer. Or if you just let it ride through and you're just watching me do this one, cheaters. All right, minus plus. I know because minus plus is in my chart, minus plus. I know my two binomials are going to be x minus, x minus. I know that. That's a done deal. Now I have to figure out 24. What makes 24? 1 times 24, 2 times 12, 3 times 8, 4 times 6. I'm going to say, okay, then I'm just repeating. I've got to look in here what two of these numbers, being that they're both negative in my binomials, I'm going to add them and make a negative OI, outside, inside. 24 plus 1 makes 25. Doesn't work. 12 plus 2 is 14. Doesn't work. It looks like it would. Looks like you just take 12 minus 2 and it makes 10. Wrong answer. They're both negative. You'd have to add them. Gone. 8 plus 3 is 11. Woo, close, but no cigar. 6 plus 4 is 10. Now, the good news is because they're both negative, I don't care where I put either of those. They just have to stay there. All righty? Could be x minus 4, x minus 6. It doesn't matter. It's the same monster. All right? Now, down at the bottom of the page, they do this same thing that they did before with the other one. They start setting it up as a quadratic. I said that last worksheet was leading into this. This is the beginning of the quadratic formula, the quadratic equations. Okay? Let's just use this one that we just did. How can we find out how to set this equal to 0? You have to factor it into the two binomials and set each binomial equal to 0 to find out what numbers in the set could be the solutions to this. Now, you're going to find out that these two numbers that you find are pretty important in the next chapter when we get into quadratics, okay? But right now, we're just finding out what the set, the solution set for this is. Have to add the 6, x equals 6, or x equals 4. That's your solution set, 6 or 4. It doesn't have to be both of them. It could be one or the other. Now, you can see it, obviously, with the two binomials. But if you place this back into the trinomial, x squared is 36 minus 60 plus 24 equals 0. 4 squared is 16. 16 minus 40 plus 24. It works out perfectly. Perfectly, perfectly, perfectly. Okay? Now, you also have to remember they're negatives, so it'd be negative times a negative is positive. Negative times a negative is positive. It all works out. All righty? All good? Oh, no, they're both positive. Duh. Stop it. Don't mess people up. All righty? Any questions on these? Ask about them. I'll let you work on these for a little bit. I'll be posting another worksheet of a little more difficult trinomials that you're going to have to factor. How can I make these more difficult? Make the numbers uglier, but adding a coefficient in front of the x squared, putting a number out in front of the x. That's what we're going to work on next. That exponentially changes the problem more and makes it more difficult. All right. You're going to get this video in a few seconds. I will talk to you soon. Bye.